Greetings. That's
Hello.
right. Welcome to the midnight. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh wait, wrong
I,
show.
I know. I almost said the Midnight Society because the bat and the cat are back. One. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
Welcome aboard, Al.
thank you, thank you. It's been
Lucard.
it's been a while.
It has been. It has been. In fact, I was so thinking about this today. I was doing my review of this movie, and I put it up like this. And I was looking at it going like, oh my gosh, I must be thinking about my friend Al Lucard because look at it's upside down, just like
There
how we
you
speak. So, uh, this is gonna be fun. This has been a while since you and I have been on the same air together. But of course, we're gonna do this one together. Debra Sullivan coming in the house.
go. Definitely.
And super happy she's gonna be here with us. Um, I
I've
mean,
I-
I
I've
don't know
I've,
about you, but go ahead.
I've actually been wanting to chat with her since we talked to Adam.
Yes. Ever since you and I got our copies of Secret Santa, um, absolutely bonkers film. Um, and then I found out that Deborah she has a deep, rich horror background. She
Oh,
actually is contributed to the story for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface. Now that's I don't know what it is, but knowing that a lady put a woman wrote about that kind of horror, that's intriguing to me.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Same.
because you're sitting there and you watch. I mean, like he fired up the chainsaw and then he went cutting. It's just like you expect that to be a man writing that kind of action, but there's Deborah Sullivan and she's doing it, and then she's also acting in some incredibly a lot of fun films,
Yeah.
including Secret Santa. Um, so I'm very intrigued.
She
You know,
she she's got quite the resume.
she does. She certainly does. They're so busy. Her and Adam Marcus, her husband. Not only does she act, and they both write screenplays and whatnot, but they also with behind the Skeleton Crew production company, they also are acting teachers, acting
Yep.
coaches. It's a full plate for anybody.
Oh yeah.
And how exciting! I mean, Could you imagine having someone on the same level as a Deborah could be your acting coach?
Yeah. I mean that's just got to be incredible. and
It's like
and and,
elite.
and also I've noticed too, all the folks in the skeleton crew are like super talented.
Yes.
Like all of them. Like they're all like amazing. So
Um, I definitely see. They're still working on the Friday the 13th. Jason Goes to Hell documentary. We'll probably get an update right here.
yeah.
Hey, Grubby, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. Um, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to see. I know that Adam puts out he puts out small updates and whatnot, and we'll get an update from Deborah for sure. Hopefully they've already started filming or already finished filming, and maybe in post production because I really am excited to see what he has. Up her and Adam have up their sleeves for the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Same.
and of course, Secret Santa is one of those movies too that not only is it going to be a instant cult classic, but it's going to be one of those movies that every single Christmas you're going to see people talk about it and review it. Immortality. I mean,
And
you know,
rightfully so.
and rightfully, hell yes, that
Yeah.
movie's bonkers.
This movie kicks ass, man. This
It
movie
was,
it really does.
it really was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Totally enjoyed it. Uh, a lot of laughs. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to talk to her. Like I said, the screenwriters, her writing her screenplays, a producer. I mean, she does it all. So I mean, she when she gets here, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Anthony Chabot is here, 672 subs. The funniest unfunny guy. Greetings, greetings. The funniest unfunny guy. Now that must be. Are you a stand-up comedian by
that's
chance? Is
that's
that
a
what's
pretty
in?
cool name. I like it.
I think I do too. If you're a comedian, let us know. I'd like to know. Bones has missed us. Bat and the cat. That's right. Uh, yeah, that'd be cool because if you are a stand-up comedian, we do have one of those tomorrow. We will be interviewing Sarah Dunn tomorrow.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yes, and she's got a fascinating story to tell too, because not only is she a stand-up comedian, but she escaped a cult, a
Ooh.
real life cult.
Oh, very interesting.
Very yes, and
Oh,
what's even more interesting is how where the cult was located at, and her role in it
hmm,
before she managed to escape. And it's going to
dang.
be really interesting, a really interesting interview tomorrow. I've been looking forward to that for quite a while,
I'll
and
definitely have to watch that one.
she'll be here tomorrow night, Sarah Dunn. And then on Wednesday, we moved up everything one day. We got Deborah here on a Monday, so we moved up. Instead of doing a show on Thursday, we're just doing it on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we have a young actress, Nia Nia Caitlin Ketstever will be here with us on Wednesday at 8 o'clock too. Yeah, we got a lot of fun things planned up for February. We're covering Martyrs. Hopefully, the Bat will be back for next Sunday.
I'm gonna
Uh,
try. I can't promise, but I'm gonna try.
we're gonna cover Martyrs. Um, and then I'm trying to work on some martial art action with a special guest, which I'll hold to my vest until I get it booked. But we might have a special guest on the Midnight Society for some martial arts action.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah, that's what. Wow.
Ninja bat.
As you know, yes. Gizmo is in the house. All right, all right. Yes, we got to reschedule that too with you, the Bat. Uh, uh,
Oh, Christmas blood. Yeah.
yes, we got to do Christmas Blood.
Yeah.
I was not able to do the Christmas show because I was too busy trying to stay warm because I was freezing my ass off for over
Yeah.
the Christmas holidays. I was an ice block. If the
Yeah.
cheetah wasn't here to save my life, I probably would have been just a giant ass popsicle. Thank God for the cheetah.
Patrick the popsicle.
That's right, Patrick the popsicle. But the cheetah hung out. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. I mean, people say, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes." Me and the cheetah, we were underneath the covers for at least 20 out of every 24 hours
Oh, I bet.
for 4 days.
Yeah.
It was horrible. So I really was worried about him though because it was so damn cold. It was like, he has short hair, so he's got a thick fur on his chest, but he's a little older now, and his fur doesn't grow thicker like it did when he was younger. So I was concerned, but he was a smart one. He knew where to go. The actress Deborah will be here with us in a few minutes. 8 o'clock.
In a few minutes.
Yes, 8 o'clock. So yes, we're so glad she's going to be here. I will tell you, in February we do have a few fun guests. The lovely Crystal Lowell will be back with us on February 4th, a Saturday. We're going to be doing an afternoon show with Crystal Lowell. She's got a new short film that she wrote and directed called Afterglow. So she will be here with us on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon to talk about that. And then on Tuesday, the 7th, I'm going to be doing a doubleheader. We're going to do one show at 4 p.m. and one at 8. And on 4 p.m., we will be talking to actress Crystal Martin from The Mean One. The recent,
Nice.
yes, the recent movie, the Grinch, played by our good friend Art the Clown. Crystal played the lead actress in that. She played Cindy Lou. And she will be here with us on the 7th of February. That's right.
Nice.
I can't wait to talk to her live. Her and I, we actually have known each other for a minute. She did an interview with me when I first started out on my blog, and I remember asking her, can we do an interview? And she's like, why do you want to interview me? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, she's a stunt woman and she's badass. And so she says, okay, let me ask my manager. It's really unusual, like you want to talk to me. But she did the interview. It was a great one. And so lo and behold, a couple years later, and booyah, now she is first and foremost leading another cult favorite movie right now, a movie that will be talked about every Christmas, and hopefully that will be open the door for her for more opportunities. Let's see. Bones, Mr. Bones says, uh, unknown who. Sydney, unknown who.
Sydney, you know who?
Oh, Sydney, you know who.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sydney. I was trying to like Sydney. Krubby mentioned, I watched actors, producers, screenwriters through you. I wanted you to do live yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah.
If only, my friend. If only.
I love the enthusiasm for that, but there's no way in hell that Dwayne Johnson would ever come do a show like that.
Well, Bones was saying we want the bat. Here you go. I got you the bat. There you go.
That's right. That's right. The bat. That's right. I know we do want the bat. We want the bat back on Sundays.
I'm working on it.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. How do you like your new job, Al? Is it a challenge?
It's very similar to what I was doing before.
Really? Is that the job you were trying to get, or are you still in a holding pattern?
No, that's the one I wanted. Yeah.
Okay. So you're doing basically what you did before, but gotten more money for it. Yeah. Because everybody knows Louisiana is rolling in the clover.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's been going on with your channel, sir? I mean, I see you doing a lot of Bayviews. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I was hoping Peter was sending hard copies out, because I was going to contact him and sit there and say, okay, I'm ready for some hard copies. But I still got one more movie to review of his before I do it.
Yeah, I still got a couple in the pipe coming from them. I got another one I'm working on that was sent to me. Yeah, I have a few people sending me things, so I've got a few things coming out pretty soon.
I have to get off my ass and do that. If I was really strong at that when I was writing my reviews. Yeah, I definitely want to go ahead and get back into that game a little bit. Of course, the interview show really takes a lot out of it, as far as that goes.
There we
bingo, the red button here. So please share us out if you can, and put your hands together for our guest. The lovely and talented Miss Debra Sullivan is here with us. Here we go.
Maybe.
Ta-da!
There she is.
Hello. I'm so sorry about the mix-up. Oh my goodness! But I'm happy to be here.
We're so happy you're here too. It's sort of it's like one of those things. Is like we love that you're here. We love you, but please don't invite us over for Christmas.
I don't know. Could be fun. You sure? Got some great punch.
Yeah. Me and the bat, the cat and the bat. We would take a flyer on that. We'd be like, can we get a rain check maybe?
Okay.
I would totally come.
Go.
What?
Make this order to go.
Yes. Well, we can take care of that too.
Oh boy, Al, you're up.
I would totally come to Christmas. Yes.
Thank you.
Hold on, I'm trying to find Adam. I'm trying to find Agent Marcus's phone number to help rescue us, Al. How are you been? How have you been, Debra?
Great. I've been great. Super busy. It's just been crazy. You got the holidays, and then we're trying to get the doc finished, and it's the 30th anniversary of Jason Goes to Hell, so there's all kinds of stuff with that.
Yep.
And we're working on 2 different screenplays. We're in the process of putting together a film that we wrote that Bob Kurtzman is going to direct, and just a lot, which is probably why my brain is not quite functioning at 100%. But
Understandable.
I've been following, me and Al, we both been following. We were talking about that, how utterly insane you guys' schedule's been.
It has been crazy, yes. But you know what? It's better than being bored. We are never bored. Never.
No. I saw that you guys had, I think this was a misadventure. I guess there was a convention in North Carolina that you guys went to.
No. Adam went to it, and it was in Philadelphia. And I can't really talk a lot about it for legal reasons.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
my poor husband, I am going to give this man so many props. He is so there for the fans. You cannot believe it. The Reader's Digest version of it is that the promoter didn't do what he was supposed to do. The whole thing fell apart. Adam didn't find out until he had already flown and landed in PA. And he and Kane were not about to let the fans down, because he was getting messages from fans like, I drove 16 hours. I just really wanted to meet you guys. And so they and their and Adam's road manager, Stacy, just buckled down, found a place. Kane met somebody, and they found a place to actually just meet with the fans. And they did it on their own. It was supposed to be a huge thing, and it ended up just being a meet and greet with them. So I think for the fans that actually made it, that didn't turn around and go home, I think it was a very lovely thing, but it was so stressful. And so, my husband is a trooper. He will do anything for his fans.
I was wondering, has that happened to you yourself or anybody else, and any of your other peers? Has that ever happened before to you?
No. I believe his road manager Stacy said in the 30 years she's been doing this, nothing like this has ever happened.
Yeah.
And he was there alone, and I was here taking care of stuff here, so I couldn't even be there to support him. And I would call him, and he'd be like, he goes, just be glad you're not here. I'm glad you're not here.
Yeah, I have heard of shady promoters like that. I had a friend of mine who she got caught in one, and it's very much just like what happened with you. No promises were met. All the people were up there. There was nothing was right. It was just somebody who didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bad enough, but to make it worse is to sit there and not tell anybody or lie about it. And
as I said, there's a lot that at some point I will be able to say. I just can't say it right now.
Yeah, that was I saw that. I was like, man, I was wondering if you were there along for that ride, but well, I guess in a sense you were, right? Because you ride with who you're with.
Yes.
But what a terrible, well, you took a terrible ordeal and you switched it around and made it into a super positive one for everybody. So there's that.
He really did. He really did.
You guys have been, one of the things that we noticed too, because Adam mentioned it when we talked to him, is you're a acting coach as well.
No. Adam is the acting coach. He is he's the teacher. I am one of the students, and I take care of all the business for the class. So,
Oh,
and I help out, when actors when I call them our actors because that's how I think of them. But no, I don't teach. I have taught, but not this class. Like one of the things that we'll do for our students is if they have an audition, we'll work on it with them, and we'll tape it for them, and I will read with them so they have somebody that they know is competent and can do the job, so that they're not floundering out there. But yeah, we've been doing it over 25 years. And we love it. We have amazing students, and they stay with us for years and years because we like to think of it as a family, and that's kind of how we treat it. I mean, our students are our family. We all get together for the holidays. We are always there for each other. If someone says, "Oh, I heard of this part, and I think you would be great for it," we message each other. I mean, we really do support each other, which is not always the case in a lot of acting classes. A lot of acting classes is very cutthroat. It's all about me, and we are all about we. And we, as you saw from Secret Santa, we cast people. Oh, yay! We cast people from class, from our acting troupe in that movie. It was all expressly actors from our acting troupe in that movie. And that's one of the things that made it as special as it did, that made it as easy as it was, and just really turned into, going camping with your friends, except you're making a movie in the snow with no heat.
Oh,
but other than that, no.
Huh. That sounds familiar to me. Where have I heard that one before?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that would be me on Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my furnace died, so I was living for 4 days with no heat, and it was like minus 22.
No.
Yeah.
We kind of had heat. I will say that. I probably misspoke. We just didn't have any electricity for the first day and a half, which is kind of hard to make a movie when you don't have any electricity.
No.
And you're shooting nights.
I guess that would mean you have to break out the sock puppets for that.
I'm sorry, what?
You have to break up the sock puppets, no electricity.
Yeah, you couldn't even see the sock puppets. We're up in the mountains, no electricity. Nobody had any electricity.
Well,
the whole town was black.
But there's some love coming in for Secret Santa here. We got T. Betty saying she loves Secret Santa.
Oh, thank you so much. We are very, very proud of this. Oh, thank you, June.
Yep.
I want to. Do you have any questions, Al, before the next step here?
Well, that was I was actually going to talk a little bit about Secret Santa. I was going to mention that it's a skeleton crew movie, like pretty much through and through, right?
Yep.
And it's amazing. You can really tell how you guys gel. At least I think so, because everybody was just brilliant in that movie.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody, and you were freaking insane. Like it was great.
Yeah, you're definitely my
I'm
favorite.
actually much nicer than that woman. I'm just going to say.
Oh, thank God. Because it actually got me scared. Like watching Christmas. Like next time it says, "Yeah, I want to come over for Orphan Christmas," I'm going to be like, "Oh, I was ready to run for the hills." I'm like, "Oh, hell no!" But yeah, you were brilliant, and
thank you so much.
That's a fun movie. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a movie that every year going forward we'll be hearing people talk about it.
Oh well.
I certainly hope so.
We are in the process, and again, another thing I can't talk about, but we are in the process of making a deal on it that I think is going to open it up even more. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, we are too. But I want to talk a little bit more about Secret Santa, but I want to go back to your roots because you have a very fascinating career, for sure. Um, so tell us about your early beginnings. Where were you born and raised at, Deborah?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm a native Los Angelino, second generation actually. Um, I grew up. I don't know if you know I grew up in the LA area. There's
Mhm.
LA is so big,
Yeah.
and it's all these different little areas, the Valley and the South Bay and the excuse me. So I grew up there, and I always wanted to perform. Always, I think I was just born that way. No one else in my family. Mm-mm. Oh, thank you. No one else in the family has ever been involved in the business. They all think I'm insane, which is fine. So I like in grammar school. Oh, hi, watching from Ireland. I love Ireland. I miss Dublin so much. Um, in grammar school, I was like, I sang in the choir and I did all this other stuff. And then when I got to high school, and this is, I'm telling you this story as a motivation for all your listeners out there. I had a stepfather who was extremely strict, and the high school that I went to, you were allowed to pick your major. And so I was like, great, I'm going to be an English major because I want to write, I want to act, I want to do things in the arts. And my stepfather was not going to have any of that.
Hmm.
And he forbid any of that. And so I would try to find ways around it. And then I got married and I had a kid who I love and adore. He's wonderful. And then I got divorced. And I was suddenly in my early 20s and realized I don't have anyone who can tell me what I can or cannot do. I'm in charge of my life now. And so I went to the local adult school and looked up, they had an acting class and I took that. And then there was a community college. It's still here. There's a community college here. And I saw that they had a production class, doing an actual play. So I went down there to sign up, and they were like, I can't find this class anywhere in the curriculum. And I'm like, no, it says right here, this is, and they were like, well, just show up the first day of class and tell the professor you want to add in. And I'm like, okay. So I showed up the first day of class and sat through an entire rehearsal of The King and I. And after the rehearsal was over, I walked up to the professor and I said, okay, I want to be in this class. I've signed up for this class. And he's like, the show's already cast. We're already in rehearsals. And I was, no. See, it says it's a class and it says I can take the class and I want to be in this. And he's like, can you sing? And I was like, yes, I can. He goes, oh, fine, go over to the choir director and if you can sing, we'll put you in as one of the wives. And I'm like, okay. And I went over and I got in and I was not going to take no for an answer anymore after that. And I started doing theater, and everybody that I did a show with, if they had an agent, I would say, can you introduce me to your agent? And one of the guys that I did Picnic with said, yeah, I'll introduce you to my commercial agent. And I met with him and he signed me. And then I booked my first commercial. And
What was
then
the commercial for?
it was for Cozy Kitten cat food. And it was just me and a cat. And it was a very interesting experience because when you work with kids and animals, that's the only thing that's really important. And we actually had to go over into a second day because when the cat is done, the day is done. Because you're giving that cat anything you wanted to do, you're done. And then I started booking television shows and I continued doing theater and started writing with a theater company, and then I met
What was
Adam.
that like? Had you written anything before that though? Have you
I
been
was writing
writing?
theater. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
writing theater,
Okay.
and Adam was writing features. And we met and started dating, and we were both going like this. And we just sat down one day and said, why don't we write something together? And he showed me this book that he had read when he was 15 and wanted to turn it into a screenplay. And that's what we did. And we sold it. And we have been going strong ever since.
Is that hard writing together versus writing solo? What's the pros and cons of that?
Uh, the First of all, when you first start working together, you quickly realize that you need to set some boundaries. You know, you can say, that doesn't quite work for me, but what about this? As opposed to, are you out of your freaking mind? That's the stupidest thing I've ever read. So you have to, set those kind of boundaries. And over the years, we've tried all different variations of it, and they all work fine. It's just whatever's going on in our life. When we rewrite, however, we always sit down together. But usually what will happen is one of us will take the first crack at a scene and then give it to the other one, who will then give notes. And then we go back and forth like that. And like right now, we're both working on separate things, but we're still working together on them. If you know what I mean.
Right.
Everything is a Marcus and Sullivan.
Do you write together? And like, I mean, is this like to me? I'm thinking like something like the Gershwins. Or do they write piano pieces together in the same room? Or do you write in the same room together?
No.
Side by side. No.
Only when we're rewriting. Only when we're rewriting, because we both like our own space, and we both work completely different. Adam is brilliant, and he can multitask. Like, I mean, he's got television going, or he's got music playing, and he's answering emails, and he's writing, and that would make me nuts.
Yeah.
I have to be in a room all by myself. It's got to be quiet so that I can think and concentrate. So yeah, unless we're rewriting, no. We each have our own offices in the house, and it works out really well because we're together basically 24/7 when you think about it.
Sure.
We live together, we work together, acting classes together, and but my office is up on the top floor and his office is down in the basement. And that way we're still here, we're still together, but we each have our space so that, we don't get on each other's nerves. So it works out really well.
I think it's sort of cool. Why am I, it makes sense to me that it would be order and chaos, like, and that's, it's like, but actually, you would have thought no offense to you, of course, Deborah, but you would think that it would be almost be the opposite. You would think that, you would be light on your feet, bouncing around, and then he would be down there just like charging through it. But it's you're the one doing it. I like it.
I am the quiet one. As actually, it's so funny because I really am kind of a quiet person. I enjoy people. I enjoy socializing. But as anyone who knows me will tell you, I hate to talk on the phone. I just, I unless I've got something specific to say, I'm not the type of person that can get on the phone and chat with people for an hour. It just isn't me. And so we were trying to decide if we were going to do something the other night. And I said, honey, it's up to you. I'm along for the ride. You're much more social than I am. And I could be happy just staying at home and writing and watching movies and television and, hanging out with people every once in a while. But he's much more gregarious than I am, which I think is really good. We kind of yin
Yin
and
and yang.
yang. Yeah,
Yep.
yin and yang each other. So I can kind of sometimes slow him down when I see that he's just working himself to death.
Mm.
And he can kind of nudge me to, come on, get out of the house, go have some fun.
Right.
So it's a nice marriage. Yeah.
How did you guys met at college?
No. We met, oh, it's so romantic. We met at a networking workshop for the industry.
Okay.
We used to belong to this thing called the Fifth Network, and it was a group of like 40 people, all in the industry, who would get together once a month at a different restaurant and have dinner and drinks and just get to know each other, because so much of this industry is networking and meeting people. And the romantic part, however, is that we saw each other across a crowded room. And as the night wore on and people kept leaving, I was like talking to some people over here and he was talking to this group over here. And eventually our group kind of got together and it was just kismet. We just hit it off right away.
Now, up to that point, had you ever written or done anything in the horror field? You yourself? Yeah.
No, I had like I said, I wrote theater, so I tend to write sort of dramedy. That tends to be when I'm writing theater. And I love horror. I have always loved horror. I had just never thought about writing it. I'm old school horror. I'm much more. I like the atmospheric, creepy kind of horror as opposed to slashers, which is great. And I can enjoy it and love it, and I can certainly figure out many different ways to kill teenagers.
That's funny because we were talking about this before you got here, and we were sitting here going like, it intrigues me, and of course Al intrigues Al, and we're sitting there going like, because you contributed to you wrote the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, right? How did you write that story, or did you write the story,
Yep.
or how?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, we beat out like 17 other writing teams. Adam had the idea, and it was brilliant to attach the beginning of this movie to the end of the original.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that it was a continuation of that story. And, the baby gets away and then comes home. But yeah, the story was all ours. The eventual script was not what we had originally written. I'm sure you've heard this story many times. We were hired to write a $20 million film, and then the studio had problems with some people on the picture, not us. They loved our script, but they decided they would distribute it, but they didn't want to actually make it. So then the producer had to go out and raise money on their own. So our $20 million film became an $8 million film. And then they decided to play with it on set and rewrite it and put in stuff that we would never have in there.
right.
And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, that was one of the catalysts of us, like that there. That was one of the catalysts of us actually starting Skeleton Crew and starting our own production company with our partner, Brian Sexton. Because when we went to see a private screening before it was released, We just
Oh,
looked at each other and we're like,
what is
it's,
that?
that's not, that's not what we wrote. I mean, we really pride ourselves, especially on our characters. I mean, you look at Jason Goes to Hell, you look at other things that we have written, and we write characters that people care about and, are affected when they die. And, we never wrote that her best friend and her boyfriend would be cheating on her. We don't
Yeah,
write
that was so.
characters like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Do you get emotion? I've never asked this from any screenwriter, but do you ever get emotional about the characters that you create? I mean, when you're writing it
oh
on the
yeah,
paper.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. We were writing a film years ago called The Hill, which we really love, and we had to kill one of the characters, and we both sat there and just cried,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, because it was. And look, if it makes us cry, we know it's going to affect people when
Right.
they watch it.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
oh yeah, we are completely invested in our characters. Absolutely.
I guess that comes from the theater background, don't you think? I mean, because theater, the characters are so much more. The audience is right there. They can see these characters, they can feel these characters right in front of them. And I guess that's probably where do you think that's where that came from? Your empathy because you wrote theater,
Well,
as a playwright?
maybe because, Adam's background is theater as well. We both grew up doing theater and musicals and stuff like that. He started much earlier than I did. He started as a teenager. By 15, he was running his own theater company. I think he was running 2 theater companies and starring in plays. And he actually got an acting scholarship to NYU, but he turned it down because he wanted to direct. He wanted to be in the directing film program. But maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's just you have empathy. And I'm also a cinephile. I love movies. I love television shows. And I know when I watch something, I want to be affected by it.
Yeah.
I want to laugh, I want to cry, I want to feel something. Because if it's just a cardboard character that, knock them up or stand them up and knock them down, okay, whatever, but it doesn't touch me here. And if it doesn't touch me here,
It's not gonna touch as a writer.
no.
It's not gonna touch your audience.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's important. Our characters are very important to us.
What was your first thing that you wrote that was strictly horror related? I mean, just like that would.
Well, when we the book that Adam wanted to adapt, Virgin, was probably the first or second thing we wrote. We wrote another feature. My mind's just gone blank right now. That is a great movie. It's a great movie. It's over at Fox. It's in Turnaround. And it was really the first thing that we wrote together horror-wise. Black Autumn. Thank you. And it's very my kind of horror. It's very creepy and atmospheric. It takes place at an all-girls school, and weird things are happening there. And we don't know if it's in the protagonist's mind or if things are really happening. And so, yeah, that's that Black Autumn. It's a really good script. It's a really good script. It was on the
So
blacklist for a while.
up to that point, what you said you love horror. So up to that point, where were some of the horror movies that you liked growing up? As you were,
Oh, well, I mean, my favorite horror movie of all time is The Exorcist. I love The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, but I love the old horror film, the old Hammer films. I love those. Peter Cushing and those Haunting of Hell House. That's kind of, I mean, and then I was a huge Stephen King person. I read all of his books. I actually read The Exorcist before I went and saw it,
Me
which
too.
is kind of a funny story because my sister and I wanted to go see it, and but she was scared to death, and I was like, "No, we'll do it. We'll do it together." But I knew when all the stuff was going to come. I knew when all the really scary stuff was going to come. So I'd go like this, and then I'd turn sideways to her and go, "You look," and she'd go, "Ah!" You know.
Funny that I just rewatched The Exorcist for the first time in many, many years, and I'll be damned if that thing, 50 years old, I'll be damned if that thing still doesn't have a punch to it.
That movie holds up so well.
Yes,
it really holds up so well. I also like The Devil's Backbone. I love that movie. Pretty much ghosts or witches or supernatural. That's kind of the horror that scratches my itch.
I love supernatural horror. I'm much more of a supernatural horror fan than I am a slasher fan. I love the mystery. I love the supernatural aspect of it. Those movies really, they're really fun to watch.
And they get under your skin, you know. You're like looking around, making sure. What's that? What's that? Did I hear something? Did I see something?
That's what I said about The Exorcist. I think what makes The Exorcist so damn scary is they mix just enough real facts into that story, as well as there's some story, but there's enough there that's real that can really set you on edge. When they add that,
I'm sorry.
When they add the reality, the reality of it, the real scary part to it, the real thing, it just adds so much more punch.
Yeah. And the other thing is that movie is sound designed within an inch of its life. They did really weird things, like lowering the volume slowly and then bringing it back up and adding the sound of bees in there subliminally. And so, I mean, it's the visuals, it's the sound, it's the performances, which are just unbelievable, all of them. It all comes together, and I think that's why it will always be a classic.
So do you think that movie is, did it inspire you as a horror writer? Because playwrights being different from a horror writer, did The Exorcist, the Blatty's book, inspire you in your writing?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I think so, because one of the things that makes The Exorcist so great are those people, those characters. You care so much about that little girl. You care so much about her mom and what she's going through. And you care about the priest that's having a crisis of faith. And so, I would think that definitely when I'm thinking about developing characters and scenarios, that's so sure.
Because I was just so curious because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is, of course, is probably it's the gateway to slasher films. It's the grandfather and the grandfather. And there you are, you're writing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and it's just like, from point A, from Supernatural Exorcist to point B, a generational slasher film. I mean, it's such a. I mean, you have some really talent. You have some skills to be able to, to write that kind of a story.
And I appreciate that, but really think back on the original Texas Chainsaw. There's no blood in that film.
No.
That film is about getting under your skin and what you don't see and what you think is happening, you know, and that's, to me, that's what makes it more terrifying.
Oh,
You know,
she's sitting at the table screaming. That's just like that's just like the most terrifying thing ever. You know, because you're watching her lose her mind, and she's just screaming. You know, it's just like, wow. It's just, you know, it's just like, it's just gets in your head and it stays there. Sets up a tent and stays.
Yeah.
Much more than anything any other movie does in the genre.
Yeah, I think so. I think, as I said, trying to come up with inventive ways to kill people, especially in 3D, can be a lot of fun. You know, it can be very enjoyable. But just me personally, if I'm going to sit down and watch a horror movie, I'm going to go more towards creep and what's implied rather than what's
Gore.
right in your face.
Right.
Because I just think that's scarier. And you see as the evolution of the Friday the 13th and it almost, Jason becomes like the hero because it's more interesting to people to see, how's he going to kill this one? What's going to happen? How's he going to do this? As opposed to, you know, Texas Chainsaw, where your heroine is stuck in the shit. Can I say that? I don't know.
Yeah. No, you heard.
Okay. She's stuck in the shit, and you feel like you're stuck in it with her. You know, it's just, look, I love all of our fans, and if you are a slasher fan, good on you and bravo, because I think that's great. I think there's enjoyment for everyone, you know, and horror is big tent.
Definitely. Well,
I got a question. Oh, go ahead, Al.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, speaking of slashers, the other day I was watching 13 Fanboy, and then all of a sudden I see you pop up.
Yep.
And then so you got to work with Dee Wallace and Debra Sullivan and all that. So how was all that?
You know what? First of all, Deborah Voorhees is a doll.
That's what I've heard.
So lovely. Yeah, so lovely to work with. And, you know, she wrote a very ambitious script, and I give her absolute kudos for that. She really made a movie for the fans that the fans really love. And I am more than thrilled to be a part of it. Yeah, it was, and that was the first time I played a cop. So that was exciting for me too.
Nice.
And I got to work with Dee and Ron and, you know, just some really wonderful people. And I got to go to New Mexico and work. So nice. I was, you know, I was actually out of state and, you know, working. Look, I'm an actor. Yeah. Anytime I can work, I'm happy. Yeah. I am happy. So
How often do you go out for parts though? I mean, is it something that is it something you do on the regular, or is this something you do when you get an urge to do it, when you have an itch, you want to scratch? Do you go out?
No. I'm
always looking.
I'm always an actor. I am always an actor. Look, I love being a writer. And I love being on set, but to be able to take writing and interpret it through me is just a thrill that will always be my first love.
Now, do you prefer acting off of your own script or someone else's?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I don't know that there's a preference.
Or is it easier if you wrote it? Is it easier for you?
Well, I think if I wrote it, it's certainly easier for me to learn the lines.
Yeah.
You know, since I wrote it, and
you ever find yourself doing a rewrite? on your own
Oh God,
script?
yeah. Oh God. Oh yeah. The one I'm working on right now. I've been putting scenes up in our acting class just so I can hear it and decide, oh no, that doesn't work and this works and stuff. So yeah, I have no trouble rewriting my lines or anyone else's on one of my scripts. The funny thing about Secret Santa, however, was there was almost no rewrites on that at all. I think we lost one page because it was a little redundant. But other than that, what is on the screen is what was on the page.
Now, did you write, because you wrote Secret Santa, did you write it with you in mind? You playing your role?
Oh yeah. When we wrote Secret Santa, first of all, again, I give credit to my brilliant husband. We were approached by our partner, Brian, and he was like, I was just at AFM and they don't have any horror films and we need a horror film and it's got to be done on this budget. Do you guys have anything? And we looked through our catalog because we've written over 80 scripts. And we're like, no, we don't have anything that fits that. And Adam said, you know what? I got an idea. Because it was just getting towards the holidays. And the woman who plays my sister, Pat Destro, she and her husband had this house up in Big Bear. And she had said, look, anytime you guys want to use the house to film something, you're more than welcome to use it. So Adam called her up and said, hey, is that offer still good? And she said, yeah. And he said, good. I got a great part for you. I need to use your house. I need you to ask your neighbors to not take down their Christmas decorations because we were going to be filming like the first or second week of January. And she said, yeah, okay. And she talked to her neighbors and they were all fine with it. And we're like, okay, we got a location. Let's create a story around that. And that's what happened. And I mean, both Adam and I like a sense of humor in our horror. I mean, Secret Santa is a comedy. It's almost more of a comedy than it is a horror film. But in everything we write, we like our characters to at least have some sort of sense of humor. Mm-hmm. So once we kind of fleshed out who the characters were going to be and we knew what actors we wanted to use, we wrote to their voices.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, that I can see that. Did you put it like the characters on a board and then and put the traits of what they're going to be like, and then write into that? No.
Nope. Can you hold on just a second? I'm sorry, I have something. I just need to get a sip of water. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Sure. Yeah, she's fun. She's fun. She's very talented.
Extremely, yes.
Very, very talented. Yeah.
Yes. If you guys seriously, if you've not seen this movie, get it. Secret Santa is amazing. Yeah.
Feel free to drop some questions too into the chat. I want to tell you, go ahead and start dropping questions.
Yeah, I just get a couple when you're ready for them.
Sorry, I'm back. No, because we knew the archetypes of the characters that we wanted to be. We wanted, the moms and the dads and the siblings and, So once we knew that, then we could fit the actors to what we were thinking. Or vice versa. We knew we wanted to use this actor, so what character would make sense for them, what would work well for them. So that's kind of how we did it. But that script was written like in a month.
Wow.
It's the fastest thing we've ever written. So we wrote it. I think we started in October and we were shooting in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really fast. That's
really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
You got some questions, Al?
Let's see. We got some questions in the chat here. Let's see. We got. Do you like to act as a lady villain?
Well,
Well,
being a villain is fun. It's fun because a lot of times the villains can be more interesting than the lead characters. I mean, when you think of, and look, first of all, I will say Kevin Costner, hello, heartthrob. But when you look at Robin Hood, you remember, that's it, cancel Christmas. You know, it's just
very
can
true.
be a lot of fun to play a villain and to step away from something that you aren't necessarily, you know.
Right.
But then I like playing just about anything. But yeah, I do enjoy playing villains. As my husband says, you're good at it. That's why we write them for you. Like, okay, dear.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say there?
Yeah. Well, in Secret Santa, I am playing an amalgam of several women from our lives. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes. As far as what role would you what role would you like to play? I mean, is there any 2 or 3 roles either on theater or like on the theater, or if you had a chance to play them yourself? Is there any characters you would like to try to tackle?
Yes, absolutely. The screenplay that I'm working on right now is actually sci-fi, which is my first love. And I'm writing a very nice part for myself in it. A co-captain of a starship. So that would be my ultimate. I would love to be a series regular. That's prosthetics and all. Make me an alien. I'm happy.
Sure. Yeah. You said sci-fi is your first love?
Oh, I love sci-fi.
Wow. What some of the writers and the films that you enjoy or inspired you?
Well, I don't know whether it's. I'm trying to think. Well, I used to read a lot of Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, me too.
And Philip K. Dick, and those kind of people. But I think, and I'm dating myself, but when the original Star Trek came out, I was very young, but there was something that just, it rang to my soul. And I think it was that, yeah, okay, it's, cheesy or whatever now when you look back at it, but it was very groundbreaking at the time. And all of the episodes, or most of the episodes, had to do with social issues that were going on at the time that you could disguise in sci-fi. So you could deal with overpopulation, you could deal with racism, you could deal with so many other things, and suddenly it's an alien versus a human as opposed to, the color of somebody's skin. And I just think that really stuck with me. And I've always been fascinated with space. I've always been fascinated with time travel, anything like that. I remember when I saw the first Planet of the Apes. I got to the end of that movie and I was completely blown away. Did not expect that at all. And it just sort of stayed with me. And I have always enjoyed what science fiction has been able to say and to imagine. just before the next generation, was there a holodeck? I don't
Right.
know. You
I,
just
I was like that too. I'm trying to think of the first science fiction movie. I can tell you the first one that I saw that stayed with me, and that was Time After Time.
oh yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah,
That's a really good one because you're dealing with different time periods and yeah, anything like that I love.
I loved how they. I was listening to the commentary and the scene where they're in the restaurant and they're having ice cream sundaes, and on the commentary they commented that's when Mary Steenburgen and Malcolm McDowell fell in love during that scene.
Yeah,
It's like I
you can
thought,
see it.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
You
Uh,
can see it.
more questions, Hal?
Yeah, we got one from the professor. As a writer and actor, is it hard trying to suggest a change that would benefit the scene, or do you leave as is?
I think you're asking me if I'm working on a show
Like someone else's, yeah.
and it's someone else's writing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's that. Let me say this: when I'm an actor, I'm an actor, and when I'm a writer, I'm a writer. If someone asks me for my opinion, yes, absolutely. But I would never go to a writer or a director and say, I think this scene would be a lot better if it was this way. No,
Right.
you don't do that. You just don't do that.
No.
I may go home to my husband and go, oh my God, the scene could be so much better if they would just. But no, no, you don't do that.
Is it hard? Is it hard has that ever happened? When someone has come up to you and because they know your background and they come up to you and say, "Well, what do you think, Deborah?" Or
Yes.
is it? Do you offer? Do you sit there and say, I'm an actor"?
No.
acting
I
in
mean,
this?
if somebody like on 13 Fanboy, the scene where I am reading her rights. Deborah came to me and said, "Hey, you know what? I think you need to be reading her rights. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. Let's do that. Absolutely." Let me get out Google and learn the Miranda other
Right.
than, what I hear on television. And so, yeah, if somebody asks me my opinion and they genuinely want it, I will, but I never come at it from an ego place. Never. I I know how hard it is to write. And
Right.
I know how much of your body and soul you put into every word that's on that page. And for some actress to come along and poo-poo it is no. And honestly, I wouldn't like it if somebody did it to me. And now
Right.
I have had people, as I'm workshopping something, come to me and say, "You know what? Would it be okay if I said it this way?" And then I will listen to what they say and then go, "Yeah, that sounds better." Or no, just say the way it was written. And because once you get an actor in, and we're not talking about, coming in and as the waitress saying, "Hi, can I take your order?" Yeah, you're not going to mess with that. But if you're doing something really complex and you have an actor of substance and they say, I'm having trouble with this line. Oh, speaking of that, here's a perfect example. So we wrote a film that Morgan Freeman was in, and we had written this speech that was very wordy. And bless his heart, he was having difficulty at first getting through it. And I don't blame him. It was really wordy. And so we went to him and said, we can rewrite this for you. Can we? And he's like, absolutely not. No, I am going to say the word that you wrote. And we were like, bless you, sir, bless you. And he did, and he was amazing. He was amazing.
What film was this? What film was this?
Momentum.
Okay.
Which is available on Tubi, by the way.
Oh, good. It's our female bank robber movie. So we do write in a lot of other genres. We write in horror, we write in thriller, we write in comedy, we write in sci-fi. But we're mostly known for horror. But we do write in all genres.
I think I saw one earlier question up here. I want to go back and get it because I think it was let's see. Babylon 5. Babylon 5 is a fantastic science fiction show created by Michael Straczynski, who and it ran for 5 years on TNT, TBS.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Boxleitner,
Yep.
and Mira Furlan and Will Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Babylon 5.
Yeah, I'm a big Babylon 5 fan too. I really love I love any sci-fi that puts us in the space and makes it familiar enough that we know it, but it's different enough that it's sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I think Babylon 5 did that really well, as did Battlestar Galactica. The reboot of Battlestar Galactica,
fantastic,
brilliant.
That was interesting how that one started. Hey Nora, Nora's here. Kevin's got a question. Haunted by Horror. Let's get the questions from our chat first. Is there a genre that you have not written a script for that you would be interested in doing so in the future?
I think the only genre that we haven't really written in is, drama. But I think all of our thriller scripts have a lot of drama in them. But like, I've never written a period piece.
Right.
And I take that back. We have a television series that's a period piece, but it's the 1980s. I'm talking about, like the 1800s or something.
Something like Outlander.
Yeah. That right now, off the top of my head, that would make me go, how, what, But then, you know what? If it was a really good story, you probably haven't seen it. Lena Dunham did a really good job with that, with her film this year, Catherine, called Birdie, which takes place in like the 1500s, but is funny and entertaining and just, it's a good story that happened to be centered in that time period. And I thought she did a great job with it. But yeah, I haven't written any ancient period pieces.
Nice. Oh, got some good questions coming in. Our friend Experienced Africans wrote, Debra, have you ever considered any African myths or stories or how about this? How about that and or other cultures? Have you thought about doing because I know a lot of different horror stories. Like I watched one recently called The Vigil, and it was like the first time I've ever seen it was based on the Jewish faith, and it was the first time I've ever seen that. And would that something like that be interesting to you? Something like they wrote like the Babadook, and there's a new one out called the Visitation or the Visit. And it's about different culture, different horror, and different cultures.
Absolutely. I think at one time, again, we've written so many scripts. I know we were thinking about trying to do something with the legend of La Llorona or the Chupacabra. The challenge with that becomes so many of them have been done.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that is not my experience. And therefore, I would want to collaborate with someone who that was their experience in life,
Right.
because I don't want to be guessing what it's like to be a certain type of person or a certain race or a certain background, because then I think it would read false. I think it would be, you know, a white person's idea of what it's like to be a black person. I can empathize and I can understand, but I will never truly know what it's like to be a person of color.
Right.
You know, so yes, I would be interested absolutely in those kind of stories, but it would have to be authentic for me, for us to even try it.
I want to go back and touch bases real quick on the 80 scripts that you have. So do you have them? I mean, and I know you probably have them on the computer per se, but do you ever your writer's box, so to speak? Do you ever go back and like during a rainy day or whatnot? Do you ever go back and revisit any of those 80 scripts, maybe freshen them up?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, the script that I was talking about earlier, Hunting Season, that Bob Kurtzman is going to be directing, that Adam and I wrote and we're producing with our partner, we probably wrote that script 15 years ago. 15, and someone came to us and said, you know what, I really like this kind of movie. Do you have anything like that? And we're like, well, yes, as a matter of fact, we do. And then we go back in and we update it, because obviously technology and a lot of things change in that 15 years. But the spine of the story, the guts of the story is still there. So yeah, I mean, we rewrite our stuff all the time just to keep it current.
All right, folks. I'm going to do one quick last round because we've had Debra for a little while now, and I want to think about wrapping this up for her.
Thank you. I haven't eaten dinner. I'm starving.
Oh well, we're going to make this even faster then.
No.
Will you come back and hang out with us?
Of course, I would love to. You gentlemen are lovely to hang out with.
We have so much fun with you, and we had such an awesome time with Adam, so we would definitely like to have you guys. Actually, we'd like to have you guys both come back together when the time is right and the schedule works out. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
We work well together.
Yes. You're right. You guys are both brilliant. This has been a real honor to be able to talk with you, and I really do appreciate it. I know the bat feels the same. That's right. You got him to come upside down to stand or to right side up. That's hard.
Exactly.
Well, I really appreciate it, guys. And again, I apologize for the confusion. It was lovely talking to you.
I want to thank our chat for coming out and hanging out and dropping your questions on. We will be back tomorrow night for another show. We'll be talking to a comedian. Sarah Dunn will be here with us tomorrow night at 8:00. And then on Wednesday, the lovely Nia Caitlin Ketstever will be with us on Wednesday. So, and then hopefully next Sunday, the Bat will be with me, and we'll be talking about martyrs. And we were gonna talk martyrs on Christmas Day. That was our plan.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't.
That's wow.
Merry Christmas, right?
Yeah, there's a Christmas story. Woo! And by the way, French horror, that wave of French horror, brilliant.
Yes.
Oh,
Brilliant.
yes.
Totally agree.
Yes, yeah, I love French horror. I think it's I think it's slept on, but I love it. I love all foreign film. I love foreign horror altogether.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
watching the Vigil was really cool. You know, these guys know I have a lot of horror. Luciferina out of Argentina was really excellent. I love it all, and I love the supernatural stuff. So. So that is going to be on for the next few days. Hopefully, you guys all will come over and hang out with us tomorrow, Wednesday. As for Miss Sullivan, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Stay right where you are. Stay with us for one more minute as I say goodbye to the chat, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace. Okay.